Hey friends, welcome back to this channel. My name is Stacy, and if you are new here, we do crochet stuff here. We talk about markets, new patterns, yarn, all of the fun stuff. We market prep. And today, and if you're not new, sorry. If you are returning, thank you for being here. I see you guys in the comments and on Instagram commenting on my things, and that's why I do what I do. So I just enjoy the accountability and the company and just the community. So thank you again. So if today we are going to talk about everything I made over the last 2+ weeks. So I was on a Christmas break from work. I had 12 days off of work between Christmas and New Year's and everything combined. I went back 2 days this week. And then this week is supposed to be a full week that's coming up tomorrow. So during that time, experienced an extreme amount of burnout, an amount of burnout that I had not ever experienced before. Just zero desire to want to pick up my hook, touch yarn, anything. It was very out of character for me. We had other things going on in our life as well, which may have just contributed to that feeling. But I thought, oh no, this is the end. I have finally I'm done with this. Am I done with this? And so I didn't do a lot. I rested, I relaxed. I did coloring pages with alcohol markers that were really cute. I made safety eyes. I laid around a lot and rested, enjoyed my family over the holidays and things like that as well. So I just took my time coming back from it. I don't have a market anytime extremely soon. At the end of February is our first market of the year. And so I just took my time working through that. I did push myself through that a little bit. I'm like, okay, if I can get to making something and it comes out and it's completely adorable, then I'll be like, oh yay, my love for all things crochet is just back. So I did push myself a little bit through some of the burnout to just kind of create, but very slowly. I think the very first week I was off, I made one thing, which was, I'll show you in a little bit. So just take time to rest, relax. My hands still hurt even though I wasn't crocheting. Somehow I managed that. But anyway, so today I am going to bring you everything I've made over the last few weeks. And because I am out of everything big, small, in between, pretty much, I have very little inventory left from the year. The last couple shows just really cleaned us out. I tried just whatever I wanted, was basically what I was crocheting. There was no focus list. There was no market plan. There was just what sounds fun and what am I motivated to even do? And I thought all of it will be useful. So I just went with that feeling, and here we are. So I'm going to raise this a little bit. Oh, okay. A little better. So I am going to show you guys everything that I made that was from a new pattern. We'll talk about the patterns briefly. I don't have a extremely long pattern review probably for each one. I will talk about them a little bit, whether I like them or not. I didn't do any timing of myself, so I did price everything and wrote it all down on my inventory sheet, but I didn't officially time everything that I made. I did try to guess between watching shows and taking breaks and stuff about how long each thing took me. So I will kind of tell you that, take it for what it is. It's not a completely accurate assessment of time, because I did not sit and set timers or anything, or even look at the clock a lot while I was working on these things. So let's jump into all of the new stuff first. So if you are watching and crocheting, doing something while you're doing this, find some comfy way to relax, because this might be a longer video than normal for me, because I do have a lot of new things to talk about. I think I have 7 new patterns that I tried, plus things that I did on my own that were repeats of other things. So sometimes when you're in a burnout mode, doing something that isn't extremely brain taxing, is just something you've done before, kind of feels good. So I did a little bit of that mixed in with a little bit of what patterns have I bought and not even tried yet. I didn't buy any new patterns. I just went through all the patterns that I had and did things that I already owned. So let's get started. Okay, for Christmas, I got Teresa's Crochet Shop's new book, Amigurumi Plushies. There's 18 quick and easy animal patterns in here designed to be made out of chunky yarn. There is obviously all the ones on the cover. There's a few more listed on the back. And when I got this for Christmas, my niece is like, oh my gosh, that koala is so cute. And so that's actually one of the first things that I tried on Christmas break. I will tell you, it took me over the course of 3 or 4 days of picking this project up, which is unlike me. Normally, I don't like a whip. I don't like to just to stop a project kind of in the middle and come back to it. I ended up making something in between even. Not that this pattern is not great, not that this book is not fabulous, but again, it was part of my burnout. But anyway, I made this koala. It is not no-sew, so you do have to sew on all the limbs, the ears, and the head to the body. So everything is its own piece. It's not extremely complicated, and you have to actually sew. If you see the little white inners on the ears, you sew those on as well onto the ears themselves. So here is my koala that I made. You actually sew these white pieces onto this ear that you make. It makes them really thick, if you can see that. Very thick ear, very poofy. You sew this nose onto the head, you sew the head onto the body, you sew both legs, both arms onto this thing. I did not attach these arms or legs together. I think that was something in the book that said that you could do. I did, however, like tack them a little bit. So I sewed them on back here, and then like just a couple rows up in here, I tacked them so that they would kind of pull forward like this and stay. The legs actually give you an option to add a few more rounds if you want them to touch. I added one more round, so you can see they still do touch, but they aren't extremely long. I did paint these safety eyes. They are sinker eyes, pretty. And I did the little eyebrow piece, or like, I don't know if you call that an eyelash kind of piece. She actually has eyebrows on her pattern too that I did not do. Super cute pattern. I do yarn over, which I find makes things a little taller than they're designed to be. This is my yarn over, and I mean, it would probably be a whole row shorter if you yarn under, just because your stitches are going to be a little more compact. The body is open at the top, and the head you leave open, and you actually sew open to open, which isn't something that you do. I don't see a lot on patterns. I feel like we see a lot of sewing things that are closed to things that are closed, or one piece is open and one is closed. So that was not unique. I have done that before, just not as often. But anyway, this is super adorable. I would guess, let's see what I wrote down. I would guess this took me almost 2 hours to make, between all of the pieces and all of the sewing. This is out of Burnett Blanket. Let's see. I wrote down, I think I'm going to price it at $32, and I know that's not much for 2 hours worth of work. But I think for the size that it came out, I think that's what I'm going to be able to get out of it. So I think $32 sounded like a fair price for this guy. So Teresa's Crochet Shop, which I love her patterns. She always does so well to interact on Instagram and things as well. She's the one that did the bass that I did a couple weeks ago, and I showed you guys was one of the customs that I did for Christmas. So anyway, neat book. First pattern out of the book that I have made, and we'll see if we get to anything else in that book. So koala is new pattern number 1. Okay, New pattern number 2. Kay's Crochet Critters. This is her little cow. She is also the designer. Keep his ears turned. She's also the designer of Chompers, the alligator, if that sounds familiar to you. I bought this cow pattern a long time ago, probably 3 months ago, hadn't made it yet. There's a lot of variations in the pattern for different spot options, different sew or no sew options for this cow. And I went completely no sew on the head, and then I just did the one hind spot that looks like a heart. There was another spot I think on this side that coordinated with that I just skipped. You make the head, obviously gets sewn onto this body. That's what this body style is like, but the head is no sew itself. The horns are bobbles. There is an option to make horns that you can sew on, but I did bobbles. There's actually options for long horns as well. The ears are sewn into the round for this option, which, as you were seeing me fiddle with it at the very beginning, makes them to where they're kind of hard to keep turned forward a little bit, but you can get them eventually. And then you make this body, you make the 4 legs, and then you actually make a piece here. You set the 4 legs aside, and then you make this piece, and then you sew these 4 legs into this piece and then around. I had done it before. It had been a while since I had done that. That's not the way, like, I made a brontosaurus too, and I'll show you that one, but that's not the way that that one is done. So it's a little unique in that you do make the patch and then sew the legs onto the patch, and then you sew the outside of the legs into the patch that basically makes this bottom piece, and then you work your way up. This is the tail option that I chose. I enjoyed this pattern. This is Burnett. This is just Burnett white, like it, and then this is Sienna, which is only available in the big balls. So it's a massive ball, and it's kind of old formula, and that's why I skipped the other spot. It was really annoying me to to work with it, but I figured I could do it for a little bit because there's not a ton of brown in here. I wrote down that this took me probably an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm gonna price it at $24. So it is cute, it is adorable. The pattern, because there are so many options, you have to kind of read through and choose, like, okay, I'm gonna do just these spots, and so that's just the pattern I'm gonna follow for the body, or I'm gonna do this head that has the sewn on horns, so I need to skip this part. If you're not used to that, that might be a little confusing to you, but it is nice to have a pattern that does have lots of options in it so that you can kind of customize the design, how much work you want to put into it. Because I make these for markets, I obviously went with the least amount of work that I could. I think it's adorable, and actually it sets without falling over. It is not, I mean, it's not extremely front heavy, and so it does set without topping over. I did put the head back quite a ways. I mean, there's some pictures where people sewed it on kind of more to the front, and I figured that would really make it topple. So I tried to pull it back and tack it back a little bit more so it had a little bit more center of balance here in the middle. Anyway, it's super cute. Sorry, Robin, I just used the super cute term, but it is adorable. It came out really, really cute. And I don't know if I have anything else to say about it. It wasn't hard. It was just sewing here to here, and then making all the legs, setting them aside, and then sewing them into the round. So it's just, there's pieces. Obviously, you make the ears too, and then sew them into the head, or crochet them into the head as you go. So there are pieces to make. As there's every cow in the market, I think there's pieces to make. So if you don't like making pieces, I would avoid this pattern. But if you love options, you love this style, it has so many options in the pattern for different variations. So it's just cute. It's cute for something different. I can see it in pink, with this heart being like hot pink and the cow being pink itself, or something as being also very cute. So anyway, it's adorable. $24 is what I'm going to price it at. About an hour, 15 minutes to make this guy. Kay's Crochet Critters is the pattern designer. Okay, Next up is a Madeline Mako pattern. This is Cashew the Cow. This is one of her, I don't know what you call it, like mini sitting bellies, I think is what she calls it, because there is like this belly, round belly shape to this style, and then the legs kind of hang from the sides. I have made this style in a frog before, which finally just sold. I had it for like almost a year. Finley the frog, I think is what the frog is called, but I hadn't made the cow yet. I've had this pattern for a very long time, probably over a year as well. I probably bought it at the same time I bought the frog, but just hadn't made it yet. This is easy, it's simple. There is sewing, obviously. You have to sew the horns on, and you have to sew the muzzle, but that's it. Everything else is you make the arms, the legs, and the ears ahead of time, and you start from the bottom, you work your way up, you sew everything into the round, except for at the very end you have to sew on the muzzle, and you have to sew on the horns. So you could probably even, if you wanted, skip horns or do a popcorn or a triple bobble or something at the top to make these if you really don't like sewing horns on, but there's really no good way around not doing the muzzle on a face like this and making it look like a cow. This probably took me an hour and 45 minutes, not because it's hard, just because these are long arms, these are long legs, and it's, you know, the body working from the bottom up. You might be able to get that down to an hour and a half. It might have been closer to an hour and a half. Again, I was not timing everything. I was just crocheting at my own speed. This is a new Burnett color that I got a hold of. I don't remember the name of it, but it is a beautiful colorway that I paired with this solid blue and then the pink that just happened to match it, which I thought was a great use for the variegated yarns. I sometimes struggle to find things to use the variegated yarns on. I use them on turtle shells a lot and my brontosauruses because they're all solid and they can be just any color. They're fun. But because this cow is bigger than her normal baby cow, I just felt like it could be made in a variegated with solids to match and it not look too busy for something that was small because it is larger. Does that make sense? Hopefully that made sense. That was my justification anyway. But I really feel like you could do, I mean, plushy animals come in all different fun colors, so they don't have to be in animal colors. And sometimes I forget that, and I just thought it was fun. I wanted to use this yarn so bad, and I'm like, what can I use this yarn for? And then I need to use this on this pattern. Again, I painted these safety eyes. These are the 28 millimeter flatbacks. So these are not sinkers. These are the non-flatbacks. If you guys watch my story or my Instagram, I post mystery colored safety eyes on Etsy now and sell them by the packs of 4. And I just, this last week, I still have a couple boxes left. 2 boxes of 2 23s and 2 28s in the box of these flat backs. So if you don't like sinker eyes, but you have a hard time finding hand painted pretty eyes, I do have the non-sinker offset 23s and 28s in my store right now. You just don't get to pick colors. They're just, you're gonna get 2 of each size and they're just gonna be a mystery. But anyway, so this is 28 millimeters. I hand painted these quite a while ago. I think at one of the retreats actually. Super cute. An hour and 45 minutes. And I'm gonna put 40 on this because it is a pretty good size. I don't know how else to compare it to it, but it's big. Let me sit on my shoulder. It's it's big. So, and it's cute. So I think the frog I had at 45 for a long time, and it didn't, and it has less pieces probably, but I think 40 is fair. And anyway, I make better money off some of the smaller stuff, so I can, you know, make a little less per hour on these larger items that I just make because I love them. So Madeline Mako Cashew the Cow is this pattern name in her Mini Sitting Bellies collection. So I made one of her regular baby cows, which I'll show you later in my stuff that I've already made before. So this is the third new pattern that I tried. Okay, the fourth new pattern that I have tried, you guys, if you watch my Instagram, might have seen this on a reel, is this cinnamon roll turtle. Super cute. This was one of the first things I made to get myself out of a funk, and it took me 3 days. I think I made this first, and then I did the koala like several days after I did this. I made this one leading up to and through Christmas, and then I did the koala after Christmas because I actually got the book for Christmas. And then after the koala and another pattern I'll show you in a minute, I just kind of started feeling my groove coming back, and I got a little bit more ambitious. Most of the stuff was made in the last week. But this was one of the things that I made at the beginning. I had this pattern since if you saw my video, I don't know, a month or 2 months ago maybe, I made a succulent turtle that had the little succulent plant on the back, and it was green and brown. It was beautiful. It was made out of jumbo yarn, like Sweet Snuggles regular and Parfait Excel. This is the same designer, Happy Turtle Crochet. It is all no sew, except for you do sew this head onto this body, but I love the way it's so easy. If you sew enough, sewing a head like this, the spot is like already picked out for you. You just center it between the flippers. You cover up the seam where you started your sewing around, so it kind of covers that up for you, which is amazing. I hand painted these eyes as well. They're like a cocoa chocolatey cinnamony brown color. It's beautiful. These are 30 mil sinkers. You make the flippers and the tail. So you make all those 5 pieces. You start at the top. It's just like the succulent pattern. You start at the top. I got the cinnamony orange color done. You stop. You do all the surface crocheting while the body is not together, which I absolutely love this idea because, and you leave back loops for it, which again is just brilliant because it makes it so easy to find your stitches. You're not just surface crocheting into a row between stitches. You're actually surface crocheting into the front loops that you left out of doing back loop only rounds, which just shows you exactly where to go, and it makes it so easy. And it's the same with the succulent pattern, except for obviously this is just single crochets around to look like icing. The succulent pattern has a design to it to make it look like leaves. And then after you get done sewing all of the frosting on, you join the body color, go down, and you sew all of these into the round. Not sew, I say sew and I mean crochet. You crochet them into the round, and then you fasten off the bottom, and then you sew the head on. So it's really fast. I wrote down about 1.5 hours. I probably could actually maybe make this in a little bit less. She has a regular turtle pattern I do own, and I want to try to see how fast I can make her regular turtle, just to see without all the specialty stuff, you know, kind of where that would land price point wise and size wise. But I love this guy. This cinnamon roll turtle from Happy Turtle Crochet is the pattern designer. As always, I will link everything down in the description below. For usually what I do is I link the Instagram accounts, and I do that because Etsy links go bad, listings get deactivated, reactivated, so a description gets changed, whatever. And I think if you can find her Instagram, one, follow it, because you should just support other small creators. Follow the Instagram so you can see all the pictures, and then you can use their profile bio to find their Etsy shop, or you can find their regular website. So a lot of people have a regular website and an Etsy, and sometimes their regular website pattern prices are cheaper because they don't have to pay the Etsy fees. So you kind of get to choose where you buy it from when you go to their Instagrams, find their profiles, and then choose the shop that you want to shop at. So that's why I do it that way. It's instead of just linking the actual listing. If you're having a hard time finding the listing though, and you're wanting to buy it through Etsy, leave a comment below and I can drop you the current active listing if for some reason you're having a hard time. But even if you just Googled cinnamon roll turtle, you're probably gonna find it. Anyway, it's adorable. I love this pattern. Really, if I had to say one thing about it that I maybe is not my favorite, would be kind of where this orange peeks through under here. And that did it on the succulent turtle too, but that's not really where your focus should be. And if you poke this down, it really covers it up. It's not like you see it unless you look underneath it, which, you know, who's going to be doing that? I don't know. So anyway, this is the cinnamon roll turtle from Happy Turtle Crochet. I'm going to price this at $40 as well. About 1.5 hours worth of work. And this is Burnett. I priced my succulent turtle at $40 as well, but it was in Parfait XL, so it was bigger. But I feel like being a specialty turtle like this with specialty painted eyes and everything, that I want to try that price point and see if it goes. So cute, cute, cute. Okay, the next thing that I did. Okay, so I actually just finished this last night. My hands are still from it, but is I made baby Hugo. So everyone's making Anchor the octopuses, the minis, and the regulars, but Humble Child Co. is the designer of the Anchor the octopuses, and this is her newest pattern, which is Hugo the humpback whale. This is the baby. I have both. I bought them a long time ago and again had not made them. This bottom part is Burnett Blankets patchwork. Hold on. So this is Burnett Blankets new patchwork yarn that changes colors as you go. This was the colorway. This is all I used of it. I almost wanted to make the big one right off the bat because I think I would have used more of the colors and got to see more of the variety. But anyway, so this is the Burnett Blanket patchwork. You start in the middle and you go over, okay? And then you start back in the middle and you work your way back this way. So this is all one piece on the body, but you do make a half, rejoin the other side of the chain, and you make the other half. This is a very non-traditional plushy amigurumi design because nowhere in here, besides down here in this tail for just a little bit at the very end, do you use your standard in the round crocheting design at all. You make this body or belly throat piece. Sorry. Make this belly throat piece. You set it aside. You make these fins, which are, you make 2 out of the main color, 2 out of the contrasting colors, which just, they were whatever color they were because they were just came out of the thing like that. And then you join them together, and then you use your contrasting color to make this edging. So the edging is the only thing that really shows from the top. And then you make these tail fins, and you join them down the middle, and you set them aside, kind of open. And then you start from here back, and you make this top piece, which is just traditional rows of crochet, right? I mean, these are just rows where you go back and forth. You chain one turn on this part, and you don't do that on all of the pieces. It's a lot. You have to just really pay attention to the instructions, because a lot of the instructions, she says, in this part of the body, you will chain one and turn every single round. You don't do any of that here. And I don't believe you do that on the pectoral or the side fins either, which I think are pectoral fins. I think this is the dorsal. Don't count me. No, yeah, don't fact check me on that one. Anyway, so then when I came to, I had all of these pieces, which look nothing like a piece of amigurumi. And you go to join it all together. You are like here. And just like the Anchor pattern, she's like, okay, you're going to work with the belly towards you, and you're going to put your hook through the fin first, and then the body and the belly pieces. I just did the exact opposite of that, and I had to do that on the Anchor to get the tentacles to go around to match going up. So I kind of did it my own way. It still turned out just like her pictures, I think, you know, as far as the attachment, but there are a few pictures of of attaching around here, but I couldn't figure out how to get my yarn to face the right way and have this facing me the right way to crochet along these edges the way she was saying to do it. But the good thing is that this is not a beginner pattern, period. And I have been crocheting long enough that I figured it out. And I made my own way by looking at the pictures and doing it how I would do it. And it still came out the same. So you crochet around, you crochet through all these layers. When you do this fin, you crochet through the body, the belly, and 2 layers of the fin all together. And so you have to really be careful. And she tells you this. You have to really make sure that you are pulling your tension and your yarn very tightly through here so that you attach it tightly and you don't have gaps or holes or anything here where you're not getting it secured. And then you're going on around, and she has you put some stitch markers in to kind of like, you're going to crochet to this point with about this many stitches. And that was helpful for sure. I did that up one side, and then when I got to the other side, I did more of, is it aligned with the other side kind of a thing? And is this row about the same place that this row is attaching? I did more of that as I did the opposite side from the first one, if that makes any sense. I guess I love the way he turned out. It's just such a unique design, and this is the baby, and he is super cuddly. I mean, he's more of almost just like a little cuddle plushie, because he's just, I don't know, it's just the way he's shaped and stuff. I love it. You do surface crochet and out this fin, and you surface crochet these areas around the eyes, and I did hand paint these eyes as well. They're actually flat backs, but because you crocheted around them, it's not like you could tell anyway. They're bluey colored. So my advice on this pattern is, one, it probably took me, I would say, a good 2.5 to 3 hours to make this. Have time, be patient, work with a yarn that does not hurt your hands. This seafoam yarn, this is the coordinating seafoam color to this, which I picked because there was seafoam in the actual patchwork colorway, but I never got to it. So but I could tell I liked the way it coordinated with these colors. So I picked that as my accent. And it was a little rougher. It's not old formula rough. It's just like, I don't know, it's more scratchy. I don't know how to, so it just did not pull well. And because it's such a large project, it gave my hands and my wrists kind of a workout, which made it less fun, I guess, to do. Do it with something that's super soft and just glides on your hook if you're going to make this project. Have lots of stitch markers available to do all of the stitch marking she says to do. And just try to enjoy the process and really think about what you're doing, and don't rush this project if you're going to make one. I know that there are some people like the Crochet Carpenter who makes this pattern and the big one a lot, and he actually took it to One of a Kind, his big show in Canada, and I think he sold like most of them even, and for really good money. And I'm sure once you get down what you're doing here, it would be super. I could probably make the second one in a lot less time and maybe enjoy it a little bit more. But it definitely is a work of art. This is not a pattern, in my opinion, that you would normally make for your average everyday market buyers. And but it does have a place, just like anchor has a place. There are people who are selling anchors and making them and doing well at that, you know. So patience, good yarn, lots of stitch markers, read the pattern well, look at the pictures. I zoomed in a lot on the pictures on my tablet to just kind of really try to get an idea of what she was trying to say to do. When I couldn't get that, I looked at her finished pictures to kind of be like, okay, this is how it's going to be finished. When it's finished, I can make it look like that by doing it my way. Anyway, super, super cute. I was obsessed with marine animals when I was a kid. I loved marine animals. I love to do puzzles, and I would glue puzzles and I'd put them up on my wall. And I had tons. I thought I was going to be a marine biologist, but obviously that is not what I'm doing today. But I just really wanted to make this because I just love marine animals, and I just loved his authentic shape. and non-traditional style, and I wanted to try it. So definitely a labor of love. Will I go make the largest one? I don't know. I mean, I have the pattern. I bought the bundle. I have the mini anchor and the large one. I've only made the large anchor and I haven't made the mini one yet. I have both of these, and now I've only made the baby one, but not the big one. So, anyway, I liked the pattern. I love the outcome. I think it's adorable. And I am going to take it to the show, and I am going to try to sell it. I'm going to put 60 on it. Okay. I know that that's, again, not, I don't think that's a bad price. I don't know what everyone else is pricing these for, and or if anyone's actually selling any of these in the market today, but I think I'm going to do 60 just for me. So super adorable. So this is Baby Hugo by Humble Child Co. Okay. I have to have lots of drink breaks today. It is, if I keep looking this way, there's a window over here, and there's a snowstorm going on here in the Midwest. If you have not heard, actually it's currently sleeting, and I can just see the snow just like whipping off of my roof, and it's beautiful outside. It's just, hopefully we keep our power and our heat, and we're gonna stay inside and stay warm. Okay, now to the smaller makes that I did that were also new. This pattern is by Crochet by Janina, and it is a hedgehog. This was probably the third pattern I did coming out of my burnout era, and I will tell you that this is taupe burnette, and no taupe burnette I've ever found is actually soft. And I don't know if that just has something to do with brown dye and brown yarn, because it's just hard to find a soft brown yarn, but I've got some on the way. I'm going to try out for you guys to see if I can find a good replacement for browns in the burnette lines, so that I can keep using burnette for the ones that I want, but definitely this taupe is not my favorite. Anyway, this pattern is not hard, but it has a ton of bobbles. Okay, which, I mean, I knew that going in. Like, I mean, look at that. I knew it going in that there would be a ton of bobbles in this pattern. It starts, and I think it's a 6 incomplete double crochet bobble, and I ended up going to 5. One, because this yarn is so thick and was just grabbing and was giving my wrist a workout. I could not get 6 into a stitch. I did it the first few, I think, of this round, and then I'm like, nope, I'm going to 5. So I moved to 5 for the rest of it. So if you do get the pattern, I ended up doing a 5 incomplete double crochets instead of a 6, or it's one less than she says on the pattern, whatever. I don't know if she says it's a 6 incomplete double crochet or if she says it's a 6 loop, but either way, I did one less in the stitch than she says to do. But super easy pattern. It comes out with kind of a flat bottom, instead there's no bobbles in the bottom. But it's small, and this is burnette, and it was a lot of work. It probably took me a good hour. Yep, and that's what I wrote down. It's about an hour. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get more than 15 to 18 out of this guy, so it's going to be what it is. It's not a hard pattern. Sorry. I'm going to make myself a note really quick before I forget. All right. It's not a hard pattern to do. Like I said, it's not at all. It's just lots of bobbles. My advice to you on this as well is, if you are going to make this pattern, make it out of a yarn that glides on your hook, that does not hurt your wrist, because you are going to be doing a lot of bobbles. Okay? But it's super adorable. I think it's cute when it turned out cute. Crochet by Janina. This is her hedgehog pattern, and this is in burnette. I'm going to put 15 on this guy. Okay, last but not least, as far as new patterns I had bought but hadn't tried that I'm going to try now, is this little guy. And you're probably thinking, oh, you've made these before, but no, I haven't made this particular one before. This is, it's got fuzzies all over it. This is the baby Mabel. If you guys, she has a Mabel the Chick, Oak and Marlowe is the designer. She has Mabel the chicken, which everyone's doing. It's all the rage. I think it may or may not be kind of going, you know, running its course. But she has a mama and baby pattern as well, which is what this is. And then she has a separate egg pattern that the baby goes in. So this is the baby, and I didn't do any tuft of hair on it or anything. I hate the way my eyes turned out. Then this is the egg that it goes in, and it just sticks down in there, and then this pulls over the top. So it's Oak and Marlowe's baby Mabel and egg pattern is what this is. Not a lot to say about it. This is super easy. It was quick. There's nothing revolutionary about this design or anything like that either. But I think I'm going to try to put 10 on this, and I'll put it out with my Louis and Berg eggs, which I'll show you my Louis and Berg next, which is my normal chick and egg pattern that I do for 18, but I'm going to do these. These are much, much smaller. So this is the Louis and Berg. So see how much smaller it is? It's tiny. You get a much bigger chick and a much bigger egg here. So Oak and Marlowe, baby Mabel, and egg pattern. Okay, so stuff that I've made before. This is the Louis and Berg chicken egg, since I've already got it out. It comes out of here and then goes in the egg like this. I do 18 on these. So my one piece of advice on this is to size up your hook for the egg so that it fits in there easier. And then I don't do the slip stitch chain 1 at the beginning of every round like she calls for in the pattern. I talked to a few other crochet friends who also make this pattern who also don't do that. I just work in continuous rounds like you would a normal amigurumi, but Louis and Berg's pattern actually states to slip stitch at the end of the round, chain 1, and then, you know, just keep going, in which I didn't do any of that. So anyway, chicken egg by Louis and Berg, and I do 18 on these. Okay, well, let's go over some of the things that I made, or the next thing I'll go over is the new pattern I'm working on. So you guys have seen my sitting birds pattern. I have the rooster / chicken, a pigeon, and a penguin in the sitting birds pack. It's available on Etsy right now. It's $6.50, and you get all 3 in the bundle. It's only available as a bundle. All along while making it, I kept thinking of other sitting birds that I want to put in maybe the next bundle. Hopefully this week there'll be a tester call out for the next 3 sitting birds is what I'm going to call them. And that will be, one of them will be the cardinal. So this is the cardinal with his little tail feathers, his little spiky top. Same base pattern. This was my first draft of this guy, which is similar. Somewhere in this one I got off on a stitch. Didn't realize it till I kind of got too far along, so I made notes as I made him, and then I came back and we made this one. So so the cardinal will be this one's ready. Once you have the pattern for the tail feathers, you could definitely add the tail feathers to the rooster. You could add the tail feathers to the pigeon. I mean, you could add them to any of the birds that you wanted, but, and then his little surface crocheted spiky top, because cardinals kind of have that look to them. Anyway, so I'm working on a cardinal. So I have these 2. I'm going to do 18, I think, on this size. I might go down to 15. I'll probably end up going down to 15 on this size. If it's made out of jumbo yarn, I think I'm going to do 20. But anyway, the cardinals is the next bird in my sitting pack. I also made another rooster out of Burnett. I made a penguin from my pack out of Posh. And then I made a chicken. So this is the rooster pattern without the waddle. So it's just the chicken. And the mystical yarn. So these were made out of, these will be 15 a piece. So I have 3 of them. Okay, and then I made a Brontosaurus. This is savagely stitched. Again, I'll link it all below. But this is her Brontosaurus pattern, which I love this pattern. You make the 4 legs, you attach them all, work your way up, then you reattach to make the tail, reattach to make the neck, sew up the bottom. I mean, it's all one piece. There is no sewing of pieces to it necessarily, but I just thought this yarn I got, I think it's a newer Burnett variety as well. I think it's called Forest Walk. And I thought, what am I going to make that in? And I'm like, oh, it would be a cool dinosaur color. So I thought I'd try that. This was one of those comfort makes where this pattern, I could just, for whatever reason, when I make this Brontosaurus pattern, it's just so mindless and easygoing for me, and I know how it's going to turn out, and I know how I need to adjust it to make this head be in the front of the neck. I got to adjust over 1 stitch, and like it's just, and then I get these cute standing dinosaurs, and I do 24 on these. But I just, for some reason, this pattern brings me a lot of comfort. So I love this pattern. It was one of the comfort makes that I made, definitely, for sure. So Brontosaurus by Savagely Stitched. Another oldie but goodie, obviously, was this Stella the Squid. This is all from Jade's pattern, and I've made this pattern 2 or 3 other times. But it had probably been a good 6 months, maybe longer, since I had made this pattern. And it might have been a year. And this skein of yarn is that discontinued Sweet Snuggles variegated. The variegated skeins are smaller than the regular skeins and of solid, but I had like maybe a yard of this yarn left. One skein made 1 Stella, if you're wondering. Of course, that could vary depending on your tension. And I didn't do the little spots that she calls for, which I didn't do them on my last one either. But anyway, so this is Stella the Squid. I hand painted these eyes as well, if you can see them. These are 30 mil sinkers. And then I did this little mouth. I just thought it needed a little something. It's so cute. It's just so cute. It's cuddly. It's kind of like the Hugo the whale. It's just kind of a cuddly shape for some reason. I just really enjoy this shape. But I'm going to do 24 on Stella. She takes me right about a little over maybe an hour to make this. It's not hard. There's no sewing. You do surface crochet this on later. Otherwise, all of this stuff's just made in the round, chained out. So super cute, Stella. Okay, this is Madeline Mako's baby cow. This is her. She re-released the baby cow pattern where you crochet everything into the round, which I was already doing. I had already modded my version of the pattern to crochet everything into the round anyway, but I'm part of her Patreon, and I got this, the Longhorn and a Highland, I think all in her revised things. So the only thing you have to sew on is the muzzle and the horns, just like the cashew the cow. And these are my hand painted eyes again. These are flat backs, so these are non-sinker flat backs that are silver. So pretty. And this is Burnett Blanket, pink and hot pink color. I think the hot pink's kind of new-ish. It's really pretty. It's back here. But it goes really good with that neon color of the other cow too. I had a hard time. I couldn't decide if I wanted to do hot pink with that or not, but I did the blue. So super cute. I do 26 on these. Another comfort make, and then I just did it from her new pattern. Technically it's her re-released pattern that had the instructions to sew it all into the round, which was super nice because I didn't have to like stop to do it myself, because like her original cow pattern, because I do it on my own, I have to think about what round I do it in and where at, and so I just got to follow the pattern this time, and it was nice and simple. So Madeline Mako cow. And last but not least today is some swinging birds. Everything I made was pretty big, except for the little chicks and the eggs. Everything was like $20 or more. Oh, and my roosters and the cardinals. But Chanel's Crochet has a free itty bitty birds on Instagram pattern where she has like a little duck, a mallard, and a penguin, and they're tiny. And I took her pattern and I made the mallard. I made a mallard, which is in her pattern. And then I took the duck and I surface crocheted my own little version of a comb on the top to kind of make it a rooster or chicken. I made it a chicken instead of a duck, I guess you could say. And then I added it to a swing, because why not? This is all Posh, made out of Posh and Naughty Ball yarn. This one's my favorite. And he's just so cute. He is. With this little surface crochet comb on top. These are super fast. I mean, like, so fast. And I know that, I think Heather from Cottontail Crafts was making these in Burnett and putting them maybe in like a $10 bin, I think, maybe more than that. But I made them out of Posh and put them on a swing, and I also sell them for 10, and it doesn't take me very long at all to make and attach these swings. It takes me like 3 minutes. So, and then they're just cute. And I have like no swinging animals hardly left. I don't know if I have any swinging animals left. I sold completely out at Hobnob. I made a few more for the last show we had of 2024, and I can't remember if I sold them all or not, but I don't think I didn't take very many, period, but I don't remember if I had any or not. But either way, I was stocking up for the new year. So technically this was a new pattern to me, but it's super easy, free Instagram pattern on Chanel's Crochet's homepage. Okay, I think I covered everything that I made over the last basically 2.5, 3 weeks probably, since I have showed you guys anything. I know a couple weeks ago when I went over all the patterns that I released in 2024, I did show you the penguin, I think, and the Burnett chicken or rooster. I had showed you those and said that that's pretty much all I had made, which it was. And then but I hadn't actually sat down and wrote down all of my inventory to see actually how many dollars of inventory I made over Christmas break until this video, because then last week I did every market that I did in 2024. I talked about the total sales of every single market, so if you missed that, you can go back and watch it. And because I was feeling a little burnt out, didn't really have much to show you guys, and I'd already planned on doing those videos anyway, so it kind of made for a good good little intermediate period, is that what it's called, kind of like a little bit of a break from everything I crocheted to just do something different to show you all the patterns that I released in 2024, and then talk about every market I did in 2024. So all together, and remember, this is 3 weeks of crocheting, and it's like I was on break, and I could have made like $1,000 had I been in my groove, not burn out. I had so many days off. I could have made like 3 times what I made. But I'm super proud of myself for pulling myself out of my funk and doing what I did do over this time period, and still come out of it enjoying what I do. So my total, because I write everything in these notebooks, for everything that I made is $430. So I think I ended the last market with probably about $500-600 worth of inventory, maybe. I need to do an inventory. So this almost, you know, it almost doubles it, if that's true, if that's accurate thought of how much inventory I had left. And this just about doubles how much inventory that I feel like I had in stock. So not bad for a couple weeks worth. Obviously I'm going back to work. I'm going back to our schools and routines and schedules, except for maybe not tomorrow because there's a snowstorm and it's sleeting right now outside. But I think they'll be out of school tomorrow, even though they're supposed to go back for their first day. I think they're going to be out of school for at least a day, if not 2 days, if not 3 days, depending on how the roads clear up, because it's going to be so frigidly cold that everything's going to refreeze all the time and the roads are going to be slick. And we live in a rural area where it's just you can't hardly keep all the rural roads clean enough to get everybody bussed into the schools. So when it snows a lot and it drifts on these rural roads and there's nobody blading them, sometimes it's just hard, and the buses just can't go down the roads, that you can't run the school. So they'll probably be out for at least a day, if not 2 or 3. But I will probably go back to work. If I can get to work tomorrow, I'm going to drive to work. If I can't, I will work from home, because I did bring my stuff home because I knew the snowstorm was coming. But anyway, that's beside the point. But I should be getting back into a routine of having to work all the time. And with that comes less crochet hours. But since my burnout's over, hopefully it won't. I'll still be able to make quite a bit of stuff every week, and I'll continue to show you what I make as I market prep for the first show that we have. I think it's February the 22nd or the 24th. It's the last Saturday, I think, in February, whatever date that is. And it's back to the one that we started last year with, which is the Women's Club at the Castle High School in Newburgh, Indiana. So we will be there again, which was a pretty decent show last year. So other things I wanted to discuss. I do have safety eye boxes. Let me show you one. Okay, this is one of the flat back ones. You'll get this little box, and it will have 4 pairs of safety eyes in it. I have 2 flat back ones ready to go. I could probably make 1 more. And then I have Tara, my daughter. If you don't watch this channel very often, Tara, my daughter, Old Soul Factory here on YouTube. We do these markets together, but she came over yesterday before the snowstorm hit, and we were all going to be snowed in for a couple days, and we just made a bunch of safety eyes together, restocked my sinker eyes, and so I need to get those listed. So hopefully before the end of the day, I'll also have mystery boxes of the sinker eyes posted on my Etsy, and they have 4 pairs as well, but they'll have a 20, a 25, and a 30, and then they'll have 1 mystery size. So you'll get 1 random size of 20, 25, or 30. Some people get a 30, some people get a 25, some people get a 20 extra in their box. But the flat back ones, you always get 2 23s and 2 28s. So, and this is the design that was on the Cashew the Cow I showed you guys earlier. These are $15.95 a box. And it's around $5-6, I think, to ship. It's about $5, I think, to ship 1 box. If you get 2, I think it's just like, it's about the same price to ship 2 boxes, unfortunately. So the price of shipping per eyeball like greatly reduces. But I also have the store set up. If you order $35 or more, you get free shipping. And these are only available to ship to the US right now, just because I don't want to deal with the customs forms and stuff, as I tried to work out kind of how I was going to ship everything, how I was going to price them. But if you order 3 boxes, you'll get free shipping. If you order 2 boxes and a pattern or 2 to get you over $35, it'll still give you the free shipping, even if they're not physical items. So just keep that in mind if you're going to order through my Etsy store. Okay. I think that's all I have for you guys. I am feeling so much better. I'm feeling so much more like myself. It has been wonderful to get back into the groove. Hopefully this week you will see a tester call for the next Sitting Birds pack, which you already know will at least include a cardinal, and I'm working on the other 2 designs right now. And then, anyway. Okay, guys, feel free to comment down below if you have any questions about the patterns that I made, the designers, any yarn questions, anything else. I always try to answer everybody's questions, comments, all those things below. In the link below, you'll also find the links to all the Instagrams for all of the crochet designers for every pattern that I talked about today, as well as a link to my own Etsy store if you want to buy any of my patterns. My TikTok, my Instagram's all linked below as well, and my Amazon storefront. But I've had a lot of questions lately about my market setups after the market video last week. And so I have in my Amazon storefront, which it doesn't cost you guys anymore to buy through my storefront, but I do get a little bit of a commission if you go through my store. But the storefront has 2 lists. One is a market booth setup list, and then one is a crochet faves list. And the market booth setup list has my shelves, my tablecloths, those kinds of things are all in there. The bags that I put our plushies in to tote them around. And then the crochet faves has like my it has the hooks that I use, organizers, and I can't even remember what else in the crochet phase. Oh, my yarn bag, my project bag that I use is in there. So just miscellaneous stuff in that list as well. So the Amazon storefront is down below if you guys want to check out anything that I use in any of my videos or at my markets and things like that. So feel free to comment below, even if you don't have much to say, just to say hey and hi. I appreciate you guys being here. I've almost been on YouTube for a year now, and it has been so and fun, exciting ride. So appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for watching this video, especially if you made it all the way to the end. Congratulations. It's probably been about an hour, and hopefully you got a lot of crocheting done while you watched. So, and hopefully I inspired you to make something new or try a new pattern. You can obviously put that below too. Like, is there a pattern that you were going to run off to go buy because you saw it here and you think it's cool? Then, or if you've made it before and you have other thoughts, feel free to share all that stuff down below. So, okay, appreciate you being here. I'm going to let you go and quit rambling on and on and on. Thank you again. And if you do like this kind of content and you aren't already, subscribe to this channel so that you get notifications every time I post on Sundays, usually every week, at least on Sundays. And sometimes I do a live or a bonus video here and there when I can fit them into my schedule. And even if you're not new here, you can like this video. That helps, obviously, with the algorithms and those kinds of things. But have a great week, guys. Stay warm, stay safe, and happy crocheting. We'll see you. Bye.